It began on a quiet summer afternoon, August 28, 2003. Erie, Pennsylvania. A sleepy town on the edge of Lake Erie, where the most thrilling news might have been a lost dog or a high school football win. But at exactly 2:28 p.m., that peace was shattered when a balding pizza deliveryman walked into a bank, with a bomb strapped to his neck. His name was Brian Wells. 46 years old. Single. Soft-spoken. By all accounts, ordinary. But when he walked through the glass doors of the PNC Bank, clutching a handmade cane that doubled as a shotgun, and handed the teller a note demanding $250,000, Erie slipped into a nightmare. The tellers obeyed. He was calm, eerily calm, explaining that the bomb would detonate in minutes if they didn't move fast. But he didn't get far. Police found him just a few blocks away, sitting on the pavement in a parking lot, surrounded by flashing lights and drawn weapons. He was cooperative. Oddly compliant.
It became known worldwide as the Erie Pizza Bomber case. It's a complex case that the FBI spent years investigating and prosecuting. Now it's part of a Netflix original series titled Evil Genius: The True Story of America's Most Diabolical Bank Heist. We'll have much more on the story later tonight.
"It's going to go off," he told the officers, his voice shaky but not panicked. "I'm not lying." The collar bomb was real, an iron contraption that locked around his neck like something from a medieval torture chamber. It had wires, a dial, a timer ticking down in red digits. And as the bomb squad was en route, the officers kept their distance. Nobody knew if he was lying. Nobody wanted to take that chance. At 3:18 p.m., with cameras rolling, the device exploded. Brian Wells fell backward, dead in seconds. The footage aired on local TV before anyone could stop it. The nation was horrified. But what came next would turn a bizarre local tragedy into one of the most twisted criminal conspiracies the FBI had ever seen. Because Brian Wells wasn't just a victim. Or at least, not an unwilling one. And the collar bomb, built with surgical precision, loaded with traps and decoys, wasn't the work of an amateur. It was the signature of a designer with an eye for detail, an appetite for power, and a genius-level understanding of human behavior. The investigation dragged on for weeks. Then months. The case became known as the collar bomb heist. The FBI called it one of the most diabolical crimes in American history. There were no fingerprints. No clear suspects. Just a dead man, a destroyed bomb, and a handwritten scavenger hunt that seemed to mock every investigator who touched it. The scavenger hunt was the key. Police found a series of instructions in Wells' car, a note telling him to rob the bank, then follow a sequence of clues to defuse the bomb. If he failed, the collar would detonate. The steps were convoluted. One clue led to another, which led to a wooded area, which led to a jar under a rock, which contained yet another riddle. But none of it led to safety. It was a dead end by design. The deeper they dug, the stranger it got. Brian Wells had received a pizza delivery order just hours before the heist, to a location on the outskirts of town, a dirt road near a TV transmission tower. That's where they believed the bomb was attached. But who called in the order? Who built the bomb? The first real break came from a woman named Marjorie Deal Armstrong. Brilliant. Bipolar. Manipulative. Dangerous. Marjorie had a long history of mental illness and dead lovers. Two of her former partners had died under suspicious circumstances. One was found in a freezer. The other shot in the chest. She'd always claimed innocence. But this time, she couldn't lie her way out. Marjorie wasn't just connected to the heist, she was the architect. The mastermind behind the collar bomb plot. And she wasn't working alone. Enter Bill Rothstein. A former high school teacher. Another, eccentric genius with a mechanical mind and a knack for keeping secrets. He lived in a house on Peach Street, where police later found a handwritten draft of the bomb plan, and a body in the freezer. That body. Jim Roden. Marjorie's boyfriend. It was Rothstein who had called police and confessed, partially. He said Marjorie had murdered Roden, and he helped hide the body out of fear. But the truth was darker. Bill and Marjorie had been working together. The freezer body was a loose end. Brian Wells. A pawn. But here's the twist, Wells may have known more than he let on. In the weeks after his death, witnesses came forward saying Brian had been bragging about a big score. That he talked about getting rich soon. That he wasn't scared. Just excited. Investigators began to believe Wells had agreed to be part of the robbery, maybe thinking the bomb was fake. That he could walk away clean. But then the script changed. Somewhere along the way, Brian became expendable. The collar bomb, with its booby traps and fake wires, was designed not just to kill, but to confuse. To delay law enforcement. To leave no trace of the ones who built it. It had 4 key components: a locking mechanism, a timer, a small explosive, and a layer of deception. Each part carefully assembled. Professionally welded. And absolutely lethal. The public was gripped. News channels aired reenactments. True crime forums exploded. Who could build something so complex, yet so evil? In 2007, 4 years after the blast, federal prosecutors finally indicted Marjorie Diehl Armstrong. She ranted in court. Claimed the FBI was framing her. But the evidence was airtight. Schematics. Witnesses. Letters. The bomb itself. Marjorie was sentenced to life in prison. She died behind bars in 2017. But Bill Rothstein never stood trial. He died of cancer in 2004, taking most of the secrets with him. And Brian Wells. The man with a bomb locked to his throat, who stumbled into a bank and changed a city forever, his legacy remains murky. Victim. Co-conspirator. Both. To this day, parts of the case remain unsolved. Some believe there were others involved. Unnamed geniuses. Silent watchers. People who understood human greed better than anyone, and used it to write a play where every actor was disposable. The collar bomb was never just a weapon. It was a message. A cruel riddle. A perfect crime, almost.